Anyway, at the end of the ride, he kind of just told me, enjoy it, man. Enjoy the journey, because once you get to your age where you're 30 and 40, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, you're 80, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So make sure you enjoy the ride, man. Honestly, at this moment in time, you're quite young. You're 24. It sounds silly. You're a baby. You ain't even... yeah, I'll say it. You ain't even lived yet.
Yeah.
You ain't even lived yet. Me, you, and the driver, we got to get this photo together. We got to get this selfie. Oh, open it. Have you got a bag? A bag for fucking what? You grocery shopping or something? You doubling up on these bags? I was like, wow. Women are incredible. I've been out here every single weekend since I've been doing this, picking up people who have had amazing nights. Off, mum, I'm sleeping. I'm staying here. Leave me alone. I mean, I've always said this anyway, that this thing has killed me, but I can see I've aged. I look at my beard, mad grey hairs. It is mad.
When was the last time you made a purchase that brought you genuine happiness?
For me, that's quite simple, man. Like, I'm gonna say food. Like, if I'm honest, like...
Yeah, I know, but bro...
Food.
Bro.
And I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm not too sure whether that's a case of... Me, I love food, and I think it's taken a while to understand that I actually love food. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think you can deny you're a bit of a foodie. But I think what I'm trying to say is, like... I think food can really uplift my spirits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it can make me really, really happy. But there are bigger purchases which I have made, which have made me happy. But I think sometimes food can really, really bring me a joy and uplift me to a place where, I don't know, it just makes me feel so much better.
No, agreed. I think, obviously I buy a bit of clothes, but I'm not really a clothes man too tough. I don't think I'm living in my profits like that yet. But I really do enjoy food. I want to experience more food. I therefore say holiday though.
Okay, cool.
I really want.
Oh, that's a good one.
But the thing is, even like you, I really want to be a traveller though. I really want to be well travelled for sure.
No, that's a very, very good one. Okay, cool. Last purchase I made that I was really, really happy about. Okay, cool. I think, yeah, South America, me going to South America in 2012 was a phenomenal.
Did you go all around, yeah? Or
yeah, I did. I went to, name the countries already. So I went to Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and Argentina. Phenomenal purchase, honestly.
Wow. And how long are you staying in these places?
I stayed them in for different times. So I'm going to say I think I was away for in total 3 months. I planned on being away for a lot longer, but I came back early because I wanted to go to the World Cup in 2014. But
where was it?
Huh?
Where was the World Cup?
It was in Brazil. So I came back early. I was supposed to go to Brazil, and I said I'm not going to go to Brazil. I'm going to go home and then come back. Yeah. So that was phenomenal. Honestly, again, it changed my life, like in terms of like how I feel, how I communicate with people.
Agreed.
And I feel sometimes I think sometimes in London, I think because we live in such, I don't want to say an enclave, but we live in
such everything's here basically.
Kind of. I guess what I'm saying is sometimes, because everything is here, I think sometimes we feel there's no need to leave.
No.
But I think by leaving and going to these other environments and other places, I think you realise there's a world bigger than London, or a world bigger than West London, or a world bigger than your estate.
Brother.
Do you know what I mean? And those things have been really, really important to me. Going to live in Barcelona for a period of time, that taught me a lot. A lot. Do you know what I mean? Going to South America in 2012, I was a very quiet and shy individual. Yes, amongst my friends I might be a little bit loud, but then when I went to Central America in 2017, I was a completely different person. And actually I wanted to buck the trend in some respect that I was a shy and quiet person, and I was a bit more confident. I had a bit more about me. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to know, okay, what am I going to learn different about myself this time that I did in 2012? Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot that I learned. So that will go down as one of my best purchases. But food, you know, like on a, I don't want to say on a short-term basis,
like a day-to-day, for sure.
Thank you. On a day-to-day basis, like you know, it does wonders.
Cool. So obviously we're here, but I got one more question.
Good. One more question. I'm gonna pull up some over there after the question.
Cool. Do you know what? This is gonna get me thinking as well. So I had two in my hand, but I'm gonna go with this one. When was the last time you took a moment to appreciate your own accomplishments?
I'm in a place where I'm a bit like this, And again, obviously, because obviously recent happenings with my dad passing, etc., etc. And actually, I think I'm going through a transition. And my mum said that, just understand you're going through a transition at this moment in time, and actually that you probably should embrace it. That change is coming. But ultimately, I think you need to understand you need to take control of that change as well. So I'm in a place where I feel that I don't necessarily want to be too outy. I kind of want to be by myself and just take things in some respects, actually reflect, etc., etc. But in those reflections, there have been times when I've been asking myself, am I happy? Or actually, have I achieved what I wanted to in life? All right. And again, back to some of the things we were talking about earlier as to being a prisoner of the moment. Right now, because my dad has passed away, everything can seem quite dark. But actually, when I look back, high school, when I was younger, high school was amazing. College, I love college. Uni was one of the best times in my life. All right. After that, I worked at a professional football club and was kind of living out my dreams in some respect. Had a phenomenal time working in football, in professional football and outside professional football in terms of working in grassroots football. Going South America, another phase of my life, phenomenal time for me. Living in Barcelona, phenomenal time for me. Traveling Central America, phenomenal time for me. I'm literally taking you back from the age of 11 up until like 33, 35. What am I complaining about? After that, I've released a book. Do you know what I mean? These are periods in my life which I don't know, I've been truly amazing, honestly, and I think I've been blessed in some respect to be able to achieve and do those things. Me personally, I feel, do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, sometimes in those moments, you can, or forget even those moments, sometimes in the here and now, you can begin to question, like, has life been as good to me, or as kind to me as, you know, I would have liked to have been? But actually, high school was great, college was great, uni was phenomenal. As I mentioned before, traveling was phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? I've done some great things. You should be really, really proud of what you've gone on to do. Really, really proud of what you've gone on to do. Do you know what I mean? So I bear those things in mind. Do you know what I mean? But what it's taught me, that is really, really important to live in the here and now. Yes, you may have plans for next week, the week after, next year, etc., etc. And I like to plan and prepare things, you know, for, you know, what might be. However, if you're not enjoying the here and now, you will never really
ever
appreciate things, you know what I mean? Or bear the fruit of what you want. And I just think that's really, really important. So like, I try to do that. So like, even example, although I've said I want to chill and relax and kind of just take stock of life at this moment in time, sounds silly because it's a bit counterintuitive. Like, obviously this week is the week of the Conor Ben fight. So I want to make sure I go out and watch the Conor Ben fight this weekend, make sure I watch it with some friends, some loved ones, etc., etc. And then I'm going out for a meal on Sunday. So I try to make sure I do things which feed me. And I'm not talking about food, but I'm talking about feed my,
100%.
you know, feed my heart, fill my spirit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, agreed.
And yourself?
No, it's true. I think, actually, no, I'm very much, not counter, but it's interesting because you said things that got me thinking as well. Like, I'm not someone that really, I'm not someone that really, I need to get better at just, it's like you said, it's like a tick. It's like, I believe sometimes when I'm doing all this, sometimes it can seem like a checkpoint. I mean, you're just on to the next. Like, and you know, like you play a game and you have like a checkpoint and you've passed it and you're on to the next. I think for the first time in a long time, I've therefore taken this season for sure to kind of like just sit down and be like, wow, like what you're doing. But I think sometimes when the funny thing is, just to kind of like make sense of it, is when I do sit down and look at what I've accomplished, it's kind of scary though. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like,
you're doing good things, man. And while like I may not understand entirely what you're doing, from afar, from what I'm looking at, you're doing good things. Something I was going to mention, and please jump in again, because again, like I want you to respond and answer the question properly in some respect, is that, have you ever taken pictures? You know how girls take loads of pictures, blah, blah, blah. And once upon a time, you might laugh or together. Why are these girls always taking pictures, brother? The importance of taking pictures. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, have you ever looked back at your sorry, once upon a time we actually had, you know, pictures, all right? Now you look at them in your phone. Have you ever looked back at your pictures, or when your iPhone tells you about your memory, and you go, wow, that was amazing? Do you know what I mean? No, I agree, really, really important to look back and appreciate. Do you know what I mean? Appreciate what you've been through.
And document
document it. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's interesting. I feel like even I'm really trying my best, obviously vlog and obviously document. One thing, if there was a regret, I'd definitely say not starting YouTube for all of this for sure. If there was a regret, because I feel like if I actually document that journey on YouTube, because some of the things I've gone, do you know what I mean, like because of storage and stuff.
Do you know what I do? Sorry, I don't want to jump on. Do you know the reason? In part, my book, like I had a journey where me and a guy were talking about this. One day, like God willing, if I have children and all that type of stuff, they'll be able to look back. Let me go forward because I can't see. They'll be able to look back and go, that was my dad. Sorry, if I'm not able to tell my story, my kids will be able to read my book and actually understand what their dad went through.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
They'll be able to go through my YouTube. They'll be able to go through my YouTube and see, that was my dad. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He went through this, that, and the third, and he had these really, really interesting conversations, etc., etc. So at this moment in time, whilst I enjoy creating content, I'm very mindful, consciously mindful, that what I'm doing is I'm creating what might be a diary or a booklet like for my parents, for my children. Sorry.
It's interesting because
so this book that I've written, and also the one that I want to write, which is going to maybe a bit more in depth in regards to some of the other things that I've been through too. Do you know what I mean? In terms of how I feel, what I went through, and also, you know, just loads of different things. But sorry, you were going to say something.
No, agreed. I think because sometimes when you live in the here and now, it's about the numbers, about the comments, about the likes and stuff. But
oh, very much so.
Really, it's about like what you're leaving behind. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, I think you kind of narrowed it well. Where it was like, if I'm in the motion, I'm in my journey, I might not be appreciated until the journey's done. Do you know what I mean? Type beat. So it's like this numbers and likes I'm worried about. It's not about now. Do you know what I mean? It's about what are you leaving. That when it's time to wrap it up and be like, okay, cool, the final whistle's done. Have you given everything? I know you want to say something.
No, like no. Sorry, no. Go on. You going to finish your sentence?
No, I was just gonna get back. This thing, isn't it?
What's that?
About saying the last time I took a moment. But yeah, I can't. It's kind of hard because I'm not the best at looking at. I think I'm not the best at looking at accomplishments because I feel like the higher I'm rising, the scarier it looks down. If that makes sense. I think it's almost like a roller coaster. Like it's amazing when you're going up, but then when you go up, you look and you have a moment to look down. It's like, hold on, I want to go back to my comfort. My comfort's back down. And I've realised you become such a different person. And I was saying it to one of my brothers the other day. I was like, bro, like when I was planning for all of this and I wanted to get as good as I am today, I was chasing this dream per se, and obviously we're still chasing. I was just looking at the destination, not so much about the process. Yeah. But if I had known what the process contained, I probably would have done it.
And it's really important to enjoy the process, and for more than one reason. And one reason, like sometimes I don't enjoy what I do in terms of driving, but it's been I've needed it because what it's done is taught me a lot about myself. So like you've taught me a lot today. I'm not too sure yet what you've taught me. All right. The reason I say so is because after you get out, then I'll reflect on some of the conversation. Exactly. Yeah. No. Right? So I guess what I'm saying is like there's a lot of people that will come in the car and I'll have conversation with them, or they'll pick up the cards and we'll go back and forth in terms of really the questions and the answers and stuff like that. And I'll go away and I think to myself, that was a really enlightening conversation. But even away from that, I feel sometimes people are a reflection of yourself. So like you've said one or two things really interesting today, and it's made me think. Actually, the way you think of me has shown me that actually I treated you well.
Yeah, the same way you said about the inquisitive stuff. I didn't actually know that still around
that too.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That too. So it shows me that I treated you well. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And it makes me feel nice that I treated you well. Do you know what I mean? And there's one or two things that you said in the DMs. You said, what did you say to me? You said something really nice. I forget what it was.
I think I remember I was basically saying that you were like a father to me.
So that was it. So so those sort of things were really nice. You know what I mean? I was like, that was really nice, man, honestly. But sorry, what I wanted to say was like, people are a reflection of you, and people often.
Yeah, the phone, yeah.
People often.
I don't have that storage. I can't. I know 30 minutes. I'm even surprised.
People often. So people say things which like. People say sometimes people say the really smallest things, but they'll. Sorry, let me start this again. Sometimes people will tell you things which you've heard before, but sometimes they'll say it in a way in which you haven't heard it before. Right. So like, so a man got in my car, I think it was maybe a couple of days ago, and he was asking me how old I was, etc., etc. And then anyway, at the end of the ride, he kind of just told me, enjoy it, man, enjoy the journey, because once you get to your age where you're 30 and 40, you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, you're 80, and it's gone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you enjoy the ride, man. Honestly, at this moment in time, you're quite young. You're 24. It sounds silly. You're a baby. You ain't even. I'll say it to you. You ain't even lived yet. Yeah. You ain't even lived yet. And in my mind, All right, I often say to myself, I've not even lived yet. I've had these great experiences, but I've not lived yet. Do you know what I mean? Not lived yet. Do you know what I mean? And speaking to some of the quotes we were talking about earlier in regards to life begins at 40, it makes me like really excited in some respect as to what's next.
Yeah.
What is next if life begins at 40?
You're good, yeah.
If life begins at 40, honestly, I'm really excited. Do you know what I mean? Really, really excited. Honestly, it's mad. Honestly, it's so much more I want to say, if I'm honest, actually. But like, yeah, like you'll go through so much in life between now and 40 that you will it will change your perspective on any and everything. I was telling someone a couple of days ago, like since my dad passed, that like music feels different. I can actually really feel the instrumentation, so it actually sparks emotional. I don't want to say triggers is the wrong word, but I can really feel it.
Okay.
You can really feel it. That's a good and a bad thing, because obviously sometimes you kind of want to stay away from certain types of music. And I've spoken to certain people. I was speaking with speaking with an ex, I think it was, I don't know how long ago it was. She was saying she can only now listen to music given or following her mum's passing like 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And given what I just told you in regards to being able to feel music, I understand what she's talking about.
Right, because you've gone through the experiences.
100%. But also with all these emotions that I'm feeling in regards to the passing of my dad, or just anything, the passing of my dad, being in relationships, the love you have for your friends, all that type of stuff, all those feels, it makes me go, wow, I've got so much to look forward to in regards to being excited. I don't want to say being sad, but do you know what I mean? The highs and the lows. This is a journey that I'm looking forward to. Being away on a trip, taking pics, you know what I mean? Doing the Mbappes.
Yeah. It's so funny because, do you know, it's such a reverse. Because when people are 20, they're trying to become the finished article, and it's almost like the 20s to 30s, everyone's trying to be old, but then when you get 30 to 40, everyone's trying to be young again. It's so funny because when people are 10 to 20, they're waiting for this age. And I was saying this every day.
Mad.
10 to 20, everyone's they're waiting until they're legal to start doing things, right? So they want to be this age. Now everyone's this age, and I say 20, mid-20s and stuff, everyone's trying to be young again. Because they desire this sense of nostalgia, or because there was a life they were living with a sense of freedom. But also trying to mask up that there's somebody out there. They're trying to be the first one to the car. All of a sudden, they rush to get the house. Like, they want to be the first of the first to be the first to get the first. But then you get to that certain age where it's like, wait, hold on. 30 to 40, why did I even care? It's almost like, it's so funny because I listen, like you said, I'm very inquisitive. So maybe even now I'm downloading that and I'm taking that and not embodying it, but it's like, yeah, like I ask these questions, I'm thinking, why though? Like, what is the transition from you wanting to be older, but now when you're older, you're trying to be younger again, and then it's like, but why couldn't you just live that in your here and now? Do you know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. I think that it's because I feel like now everyone at my age is trying to be that person. They're trying to show that they have it. They're trying to be the finished article. They're trying to tick off all the boxes as soon as.
Soft life will mash you up, bro. Sorry, I'm not saying there's not a I'm not saying there's not a time and a place.
I agree with you. Don't worry, bro.
But it will mash you up,
bro.
Because maybe we'll finish on this point. Like, I do and I don't like some of these sayings. There is a truth to it, or there definitely is a truth to it. You'll be the sum of the average of the people that you hang around 100%. With. And also, speaking to what you said earlier, consistency is really, really important, because again, you will be the sum and average of the work that you've put in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, given what we're talking about now, very important to live in the here and now.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, for example, showing your mum that love here and now, at some given point, they won't be here.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
It's something, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Likewise, even with my dad. You know, I'm very proud with the way that, let's say, I supported him, dare I say, throughout the years. I wish things could have been different. Back to what we were talking about. I wish that he would have been able to come to watch me play football, etc., etc. Yeah. All right? But unfortunately, they had other things to attend to, which we are now aware of. Back in the 90s, etc., etc. Now that my dad has passed, I look through some of his letters, because he wrote little journals or wrote letters to people, and I go, wow, that's mad. Yeah. That's mad. Yeah. I know why you weren't coming to these games, because you were going through a lot yourself.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So back to what you're talking about in terms of grace, etc., etc. You know, you just have a better understanding. Do you know what I mean? But I guess live your life, man. Really live your life. But at the same time, be very conscious of the energy that you're putting out into the world in regards to... One second. One second, let me turn it off. So you were saying?
Yeah, so Because I wanted to therefore just kind of end off. But obviously, when Andrew had originally shouted me saying, Guerin, yeah, this is going to collab, I said, 100%. And it's not even so much about the collab. I think it was more about the catch-up. If there was no cameras, no nothing, like, Andrew's definitely played a big part in my life as, like I said, he was the first one to scout me when we went to Fulham, and it's kind of taken me on, but also became a brother, a father, all in one, for different reasons. You know what I mean? He was my Uber driver, even is now. But he was also someone that I could be honest with, not just about football though, about life. He says he wants to be a mentor, but he's been my mentor for a long time. Obviously, there was 2 of them working together. I don't know if you mentioned names here, but there was 2 coaches that I had, but Andrew was someone that could speak about life, or even if things weren't good at home. He's someone that my family hold dear because he really has been. And it's funny, I always say, I was speaking about how I was, I don't know if it's like a middle child syndrome about being overlooked when you're young, or just being that person you overlooked. But I feel like Andrew's one of the people I didn't have to fight to prove. I didn't have to fight for his love.
Thank you. That's really beautiful.
No, I'm saying that as I've grown up in general, and I don't know if it's this middle child syndrome, whatever you want to call it, but as I've grown up, I've always had to live life to prove, and I just haven't and never been approved at the beginning.
Sorry, wait. I thought you're the oldest.
No, I'm the oldest.
Okay, so I think there's an assumption, or maybe because I haven't seen you in a long time.
No.
Or maybe
I have an older sister.
Okay, cool.
I have an older sister and an older brother. Yeah.
All right, cool.
So I'm literally middle child.
All right.
And I've got 2 young girls as well now.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, like I said, I've always been someone that's had to prove, but Andrew definitely approved me from the beginning. But even seeing what he's doing, his life experiences, regardless of whatever I'm doing, I believe that I've become a product of my socialization, of how I've grown up, my upbringing, and he's definitely played a big part. So when he's seeing the results, I want him to know that he's part of that for sure.
Cool, much appreciated, man. I really do appreciate that.
He has that stern. He does this. He doesn't like to. He just says thank you. So, he doesn't. As for Andrew, he's like thank you. Yeah, great, thank you so much. When he gets a bit, trust me, because I remember I think we went to Spain time ago, and Coach E,
yeah,
was like, would you guys ever run through a wall for Andrew? I never forget that question. We're in the coach.
Okay.
We're at the back. There's me, a few of us in the back, and then Coach E's come to us saying, "Oh, like, would you guys run through a wall for Andrew?" And I said yes. And then Andrew's like, "Yeah, thank you. Yep, great." Because he doesn't know how to like receive compliments, and he has this stern about him. But don't brush him. He's a softie inside, bro. Trust me.
Oh, I am definitely a softie inside. Definitely a softie. But thank you.